So one thing I like to do with the channel anytime we have a new season start is put together a bit of a beginner's guide for people who are new and returning in regard to settings. And while some of these may be purely cosmetic, there are other ones that should hopefully help you out with you and your gameplay. What's up, my YouTube family? Graybeard with the Gaming Brigade, back with another Division 2 video. And as I said a moment ago, this is all about changing some settings in your game so you can really customize your gameplay. Now, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well. And we are having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5, but as always, I will go over those details at the end of the video. Now, the first few things we're going to talk about are purely cosmetic, the first of which being how to hide your signature weapon and or mask as well. So what you want to do is go to your signature weapon, you're going to push down on options, and when you do, if you look at the very bottom where it says inventory options, you have the option of showing your mask. We're going to put that bad boy on really quick. You also have the option of showing your signature weapon as well, and you can turn that on or off. Now, that was something that was introduced into Title Update 10, so our last one. And as you can see here, the signature weapon is there, but for me personally, I like the look of having it not show at all. Now, that does not mean you don't have it equipped. It's obviously still there, but you do have the option of hiding it. And so for me, usually when I run, I have the mask off so you can see just the gray beard itself, and then we're going to take off the signature weapon as well. And like I said before, in my opinion, it's just a much cleaner look, but it's totally up to you. Next, my friends, we're going to get into some gameplay options. The first of which being is your on-call status, because we all know there are some times in this game where you do want to squad up, play with other people. Other times you may want to play on your own. So when you go to gameplay and you scroll down to on-call status, you will see three options that are available to you. They are going to be none, friends and clan, and all. And they mean exactly what they say. So if you do not want to be bothered at all, you set it to none. If you want to just, hook up with friends and clan when you're playing, you can do that. Or if you want to hear notifications from everyone, you can set your game to that as well. Now, for me, it all depends on what I'm actually doing in my gameplay. So if I'm recording a video trying to get footage, I have to set it to none so that way I can record the stuff that I need to for the videos I put out. But usually it's on either all or friends and clan, because as most of you know, one of my favorite things is to help out agents in any way I can. Moving on, we're now going to talk about the additional field of view setting, which is also located under gameplay. So once again, you hit gameplay, you scroll down to additional field of view. Now, for those of you who are just getting back into the game, or maybe you're brand new, this is going to give you a wider view of your surroundings when you're playing the game, running around in the open world, all that good stuff. Now, at this point, I want to show you both extremes. We're going to set it to 0 at first, and this is the narrowest field of vision that you can have. Now, you can see by the gameplay, you can definitely see stuff going on in the open world, and for some of you out there, this may be the way you want to play the game, because otherwise it could be a little too overwhelming with seeing too much at once. Now, for those of you that want to see absolutely everything you possibly can, now we're going to crank it up to 25. And at this point, I want to show you a comparison. So the top image is at the lowest, the bottom one is at the highest. So again, my friends, take your time, try out different variations of the field of vision, and then make a decision on what's best for you in your gameplay. Now, another great feature about this is you can also change your additional field of vision while aiming your weapon as well. So you could have a wider field of vision when you're in the open world running around, and then if you want something more tunnel visioned when you aim down sight, you could also make that adjustment. Moving on to another question that I still receive at the channel pretty much on a daily basis is, how do you change your damage numbers from that random sphere in the middle to the nice clean line on the side? Now, what you want to do is you go to settings, you go to UI, you go to scrolling combat text, and you change it to floating. And sometimes in this game, and this can sometimes happen when we get a new update in the game, it's happened to me a few times before where the game will reset to its default setting, which is that random sphere. But again, now you know exactly how to go into settings, change it back to floating, and you should be good to go. Now, another cosmetic change you can make in the game is if your loot beam is visible or not. You can turn it on or off, and I'll show you the difference. And what that is that is the large loot beam that you see anytime an item or weapon drops in this game. Now, for me in my gameplay, I love seeing the loot beam, especially when it's an exotic. It just reaches to the heavens. You're wondering what it is. It's totally badass. But anyway, you can see here it is obvious when the loot beam is on, and even when it's off, you can still tell the loot is there. So again, my friends, this is just personal preference. You can set it to anything you want. Next, we are going to talk about camera sensitivity, and in order to access that, you go to Control, scroll down, and that's where you see it. Now, as before, when you have a lower number, it's a slower speed. The higher number equals a higher speed. And the reason it's, in my opinion, so important for this update is because now with certain raid exclusives being in the dark zone, we are having a lot of players jump into the DZ, especially PvE ones. And as someone who typically only plays PvE, one thing I notice about PvP players is that they are fast as like, I cannot keep up with their movements. It's absolutely insane. Now, one of the things I've heard a lot of people say is they do change their camera sensitivity. And that, my friends, can give you much better situational awareness when you're playing in the dark zone. There are times where I'm dead before I hit the ground. Like, I had no idea someone was creeping up. You know, I saw I was being pulsed, and by the time I turned, because my camera speed was slow, it was already too late. So once again, this is another option that you can change, and it will hopefully help you out. Last but not least today, I want to talk about something that I think is probably one of the most underused options in the game, especially for those of you that play on console, and that is your on-screen keyboard. Now, you go to accessibility, you can see the on-screen keyboard is right there, and you have the option of turning it off and on, and this is for when you are playing in a group of people. Now, I know for some of you out there, you may not want to have a headset, you don't like having one on, or you just don't like talking to people, whatever it is. I mean, it's all good, it doesn't matter, but in this game, always remember, one of the best things that, in my opinion, about this game is that you always have agents that want to try to help you out to get things. So what you want to do is turn that keyboard on. And you'll see here I use countdown as an example, and what I recommend doing is right when countdown starts, all you need to do, and if you play in console, is push down on the directional pad. And once you do that, you will then see a keyboard pop up on the screen. You can type a message and let other agents know of things you may be looking for. So in this case, I was looking for any weapon with the talent determined. And you'll see once I type in the message and I press enter, you're going to see it in the bottom left corner of the gameplay itself, so that way other agents can see that message. And look, usually people will drop items if you're looking for it, but this is just another way to let them know exactly what you may need. With all that being said, my friends, I'm going to start to wrap this up. As always, I want to thank you all for your incredible support of this channel, and remind you, if you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this thing, we are currently having a giveaway for a PlayStation 5. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe here or follow on Twitter, and the winner will be announced May 4th of this year. On that note, I'm going to let the rest of the video play out. However, like I said before, if you happen to be new here, feel free to hit that subscribe or join button. If you enjoyed this, you could hit that like button as well, but most importantly, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone.
High-risk target detected.